So we teach a class here as part of our Master of Science program in Engineering Management and a required class in our graduate program for New Products Management. And it's called Knowledge Management. And there's two kinds of knowledge. When you talk about knowledge, you talk about how it's shared. And there's explicit knowledge and there's tacit knowledge. And today what I want to talk about mostly is tacit knowledge. The explicit knowledge is the copy of the PowerPoint, which, okay, it's only so useful. The most powerful stuff is the tacit knowledge, the things that we get in conversations. And I think one of the most powerful things that we do as servant leaders is to converse. So I'd like to quote a very important person here. Tom Thibodeau said at our last, I think it was over at Milwaukee, Wisconsin Lutheran College. This is where I wrote it down, Tom, I don't know. He said, "We shape our lives by the conversations we have." And it's one of those things where, as I was thinking about how we build community, and for businesses or small businesses, it says small businesses in the title, but it's about all businesses. I think we build community with business through our conversations. So I want to talk to you about my journey on servant leadership and how I have those conversations and build community around servant leadership. So this, you kind of heard about all those kind of things before. I also work for a not-for-profit out of Boston that works with small businesses, and I really enjoy that. It's kind of my mission, it's my why, if you're familiar with the Simon Sinek approach. And I also do some things where I do things very informally. We have lots of conversations. Our roundtables on servant leadership are conversations. These are conversations. You'll see all kinds of conversations. Our classrooms are conversations. And so the conversations that we have is our best way of sharing knowledge about who we are and what we do as servant leaders. So to tell you a little bit about that, okay, this you've heard before. I spent about half my career in corporate entities and about half my career in my own businesses. So I've had an opportunity to work in larger businesses and smaller businesses, and I think it's the same no matter where you are. You have conversations, you work with people, you solve problems for and with people. Every time you do that, you have an opportunity to be a servant leader. Every time you are doing something within a business. I think businesses are a great forum of any kind. I had a student I was talking with one time about her career, and she had a master's in social welfare, and she was getting a degree in business, an MBA, and she wanted to work in a not-for-profit. And she was so concerned about serving the community in a not-for-profit, and that's wonderful. But I said, have you ever thought about going into your own business? And she said, well, she's kind of like, how am I helping people doing that? I said, giving people a way to go to work and love their job, no matter what you're doing, is a wonderful way to serve people. Creating value and getting people to love to go to work and whatever it is you're doing, if they like it, that's good stuff. And I said, it doesn't matter if you're, she was in an agency where she was fighting all the agencies and the fundies and all the things. Get out and create jobs. It's a great way to do that. So business is a great forum. And so my journey started back in here at MSOE as far as teaching. I got the opportunity to do this as an adjunct. And I started in 1988. I got an opportunity to start teaching. And then I discovered, and I was thinking about this, I discovered servant leadership around 2003. And I was developing a course in leadership. And I was doing a bunch of reading, and I read about this stuff called servant leadership. And I was like, this is pretty neat. And then I had an opportunity to have a speaker in who talked about it, about his journey, and that was Vic Hunter. He came into our class and he talked about it, and I had a number of other people come in and talk about those things. And then I introduced servant leadership into this graduate leadership class in around 2005. When were you in that class, Deanna? Was it somewhere around there? Yeah. And so we made the students read Greenleaf's book. And so we use it as a leadership style. And I started teaching classes at UWM in 2000, and I had the opportunity to work with a great servant leader who's done this talk, put a lot of pressure on me here today to try to do just as well as Alan Klotche. And Alan Klotche, a graduate of that program, he came in and he said, we're going to have you come in and talk to class. And I said, why don't you talk about your servant leadership journey? And he did. And those conversations are ways to build community and share the servant leadership journey. He talked about what he did and how he did it. Those conversations we have every day in business. So I think the best way to build community is centered on this idea of how we talk about and how I get the opportunity to teach business concepts. That's how I build community. That's what I do to build community. So we're talking about how can you do some of these things. I happen to have conversations in the classroom. I have conversations outside of the classroom. And I work with small businesses and we teach them how to build their business and how to make it better. I think the thing that we really need to do is to get to the point. The explicit information is I can tell you the 10 principles of servant leadership as we reviewed this morning. That's explicit information. The tacit information is how we lead as a servant leader. And this just, I'm going to just give this to talk loud. I'll use my classroom voice. Can you hear me back there? Yeah. Okay. So the idea is that the way that I internalize servant leadership is that it is, you run your business based on values. And wherever those values come from, for me, and forgive me, but my values, I'm a Christian, so that's where my values come from. Everybody has a source of their values. But when we run our businesses, we build our businesses, we grow our businesses, and we treat one another on a value basis, we're practicing servant leadership in my mind. So the business conversations we have always involve people. All of our businesses involve people. I did a lot of work with that Net Concepts company where we built e-commerce solutions and we did search engine optimization, a lot of geeky kind of marketing stuff. But we had conversations with companies on how they did business and what they did using technology, but we had conversations with people. Hello. I'm going to just keep talking. The conversations we had with our customers got to the point where how they're going to do business and what they were trying to do. But everything we did, we used technology, but it was with people, for people, and how we conducted business. And if you do it on the basis of values and values-centered principles, you're doing servant leadership. So we need people to build and grow businesses. Every one of them grows businesses. The work I do with Interize, it's a company out of Boston that started working with small businesses in the inner cities. They called it inner city entrepreneurs in the beginning. And the theory was, the first time they called me, they said, we'd like you to teach these classes. And I said, no thank you. I don't want to teach classes to small businesses. I don't want to see the federal government throwing money in the inner city or the hub zone of Milwaukee. I said, I just don't think it's effective. That was my opinion. And they said, well, wait a minute, let me tell you how this works. And they said, the theory is that the unemployment problems that we have in these hub zones is that we need jobs in the city of Milwaukee. And if we work with businesses in the city of Milwaukee and we help them grow, they will hire people and that will help eliminate the problems of unemployment in Milwaukee. And I said, I'm on board. And I said, and this is going to be my 10th year working with businesses. I work with 15 businesses a year. Most of them have been successful. We're now in 65 cities around the country through teaching these classes from this company in Boston. And it's sponsored by, it's really cool. It started under the Bush administration and it's carried through to the next two, who's our president now? Obama. It's like this bipartisan thing that's happening. And by the way, it's the most efficient job creation program in the history of the federal government. It costs you, the U.S. taxpayer, $750 per job created. Think about the payback of that in tax money. Okay, and it's been going on for almost 10 years. But it's helping small businesses grow. You know how we do that? Conversations. We help one another. These businesses help one another. Yes, there's some skills, but it's all about people. So we build our businesses, we run our business, everything is with people. And then we hire, retain, and we grow people. They're served by helping them be better by everything that we do. And I love that. That's fun. That's my why. So whether it's the classroom, whether it's at a round table, whether it's in a workshop, that's where we're building community through business. So our employees, our customers and suppliers, business partners are all better off. Everybody's better. when we practice servant leadership. And we use those principles the way we conduct, we build, and we grow our business. So this is where I want to spend my time, and I've got a bunch of examples in here. So are you going to cut me off? Tell me when I have like 1 minute left or so.
I'll tell you 1 minute.
Tell me 1 minute, okay? Because I'm used to speaking in like 2 hours and 50-minute buckets. So I'm sure I got 3 minutes. Okay, good. So this is take the clicker, yeah, because I only have one more slide. So these are the business conversations. So I take the 10 principles and I put them in the idea of conversations. So think about this list in the context of 2 classes I'm teaching right now, entrepreneurship, and the other one is advanced product development. Those are the 2 classes. So just think about the opportunity that we have to have conversations with our principles and our values embedded in those conversations, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's students amongst themselves, but listening to our customers, listening to our suppliers, listening to one another, our teams. And we actually work together to help one another to grow the business. We lift everybody up. And when we do that on value-based principles, servant leadership principles, everybody has a better community. Everybody does. Empathy. We teach that in a new product development process, that it's not just a handoff, that everybody's working together, the inputs and the outputs. We hold one another accountable for results. It's not your job, it's our job, and we all work together as a team. We empathize with the person upstream and the people downstream, our customers. We're doing it for their benefit. We have empathy. Think about those conversations. Healing. We make mistakes. We have quality problems in business. We have to figure out how to do those how do we fix those things? And when we fix them, we heal and we grow stronger. When we fix the problems, we go stronger. Awareness. We have to know what's going on. We have to see the trends that are happening, whether it's legal or whether it's anything that's happening. We have to have those kinds of conversations. I'm going to jump forward to foresight. We have to think about where the world is going, where our customers' problems are going, where our employees' problems are going. We have foresight and we built our business around those things. Those conversations are important. And the commitment to the growth of people. Anytime we do something better, we learn, we share knowledge, whether it's explicit or tacit, we grow. And every time we grow, the people are better because of it. It's the definition of a servant leader. Could you click to the last slide? So it's my gratitude. Thank you for listening to me. And I want to tell you one last story. I had a speaker one time, and this is going to be hard for me to say because it comes from here. And the speaker said one time, it was a servant leadership speaker, and he was an ordained clergyman. And he came in and spoke to our students, and he talked about servant leadership. And he said, you came in a business, the student raised his hand, asked a question. He said, you talked about servant leadership with a lot of passion. And he said, you're a Christian clergyman. He said, you never mentioned Jesus Christ. And he said, Jesus Christ is truth. As a servant leader, we deal with truth. If we deal with people with truth on all levels, we will build our businesses. We will build our businesses as servant leaders. I encourage you to have those conversations. And as I always end all my classes, is if you've ever learned anything here in this brief talk that we've had, please take that and make the world a better place to live and work. Thank you for listening to me.